Adesina, Koiki here at the New York Athletic Club, continuing our coverage of Big East Men's Basketball Media Day. And right now I am joined by head coach and future Hall of Famer for the Louisville Cardinals, Rick Pitino. And first of all, Rick, coming back to New York, you're a New York City guy. Just your memories and just thoughts about being back in New York and the memories it brings back to you.
Well, a couple things. I still live in a city, still have a residence here. I'm a member of the New York Athletic Club.
You are? Have
been for over 30 years. I still have New York Knicks season tickets.
Really?
So, that in itself, I lived in a brownstone on 26th Street when I was born to age 7 or 8. I live with my grandparents and aunt and uncle, so it's home for me.
Last season, a very good season, which got so much better towards the end of the year. 4 games in 4 days, winning the Big East tournament and then going on to the Final Four. What did you and your team do best to avoid burnout after 4 games in 4 days? It's such a tough thing to do. And then afterwards, avoid the burnout and end up making that run to the Final Four.
Well, it's funny because our injuries actually helped us. It hurt us throughout the season. We had more injuries in 1 year than probably 5. But it really helped us in the long run because so many guys missed 35, 40 practices. And so when we finally got to the Garden, a healthy team, they were really only in January from a physical standpoint. So it really did help us. Emotionally, we weren't drained. Physically, we were well fit. So it was like a new season for us.
Speaking of injuries, it's been almost a theme, one of the themes for the Louisville program since you got there, going back to guys like Ellis Miles. Do you ever think about what your Louisville teams could have really achieved? Because so many of your years have been racked by injuries. So do you ever think back and just say, if it wasn't for a couple of guys that didn't get hurt at this time of the year, how good our team could have been? Well,
injuries are part of the game. And when you start thinking that way, you become an excuse maker. And the one thing you don't want to do, excuses I've always believed are a sign of weakness. And you don't want to ever show weakness. So we're very thankful for what we have. And this year we've got a very strong team back, so we're very excited.
Now, one of the players you have is a first-team All-Big East selection, Peyton Siva. A career that has been a roller coaster at the very least, injuries, inconsistency, talk about whether the program, Louisville, was the best fit for him coming from Seattle, Washington. Just talk about the ride Peyton Siva has had and the importance of him to your basketball program.
Well, I think it's been the perfect program for him. He came into Louisville as a combo guard, really didn't know how to play the point. So the thing, besides all the friendships he's made, besides being a fan favorite, the thing about Peyton is he learned to be a true point guard. And it's taken him a long time to do that. But last year in the tournament and right now, I usually see the most improvement from a player between freshman and sophomore year. I've never seen as much improvement from a junior to a senior year in an athlete, and Peyton Siva has mastered that. He's become a much better shooter because he changed his form. He's put time and effort into it. He's the leader of the team. Academically, he's going to graduate, so he's gotten an awful lot. I thought it was actually a perfect fit because he would have probably gone somewhere else and played the two-guard spot. He learned to be a point guard.
Of course, you've been a part of the Big East for so long, being in Providence, being in Louisville, playing teams from the Big East when you were at the University of Kentucky. The Big East is ever-changing. Of course, after this season, Syracuse and Pittsburgh will no longer be a member of the Big East and be a part of the ACC. Your thoughts on the, evolution of the Big East, of course, because of football. Just your take on the shuffling of the conference and how it's going to affect it basketball-wise, and your thoughts on Syracuse and Pittsburgh heading out and the new look, of the Big East after this season.
As long as you replace it with quality, it's okay. Syracuse does more for the Big East than any other program outside of the lines in New York City because they have so many fans here. But on the court, we're bringing in 2 top 25 programs in Temple and Memphis who have been 2 top 25 programs for a long, long time. So we replaced that. West Virginia and Notre Dame certainly will hurt, but we're bringing in some good football programs. Look, I'll stake my reputation on this, that the Big East will always be 1, 2, or 3 best conferences in all of basketball. We may not be a unanimous number 1 like we've been the past few years, but we'll always be top 3, and that's probably good enough.
When you're at Providence, you coach Billy Donovan, now a head coach at Florida. When you were at Kentucky, you have guys like John Pelphrey, Sean Woods, who are now head coaches. In your Louisville career,
Travis Ford.
Okay, Travis Ford as well. My apologies. My apologies. Who's now at Oklahoma State, and others as well. From your time at Louisville, any player or players that you see as a future head coach, past or present, any players that you coached at Louisville that is going to be a new part of the Pitino tree, a new leaf to grow from the Pitino tree as a head coach?
It's interesting. I would say that Peyton Siva could be a terrific head coach someday. Mike Mara, who was just injured, wants to go into coaching. At what level, I'm not sure. Reese Gaines, lottery pick, is now at Bellarmine. He has a strong desire to get into coaching. But, you know, it's I really haven't come across that type of player at Louisville. Like, I knew Travis, I knew John Pelfrey. They were going to be outstanding teachers of the game. Billy Donovan, certainly. Sean Woods is not a head coach of Morehead State. So I had a lot of guys go into it, and I encourage that. But the guys at Louisville really want to play professional basketball. They really do. And they consider coaching well beneath that level.
Now that you're back here in New York City, I do have to ask you, with your Italian roots, I'm guessing Italian is your favorite cuisine. Give me a place or places in New York City that you would request if a person was visiting New York City. Pitino's specials in New York City.
All right. Well, Scalinatella on 60th and I believe Lexington and 3rd Avenue. You go downstairs. It's a really unique type of Italian restaurant. Really, really a cool place to go to. That would be some place. There are so many great ones. Premola is right near my apartment. I go there quite a bit, which is on 63rd, between 63rd and 64th and 3rd Avenue. That's a terrific Italian restaurant. But there are so many. Like last night, we went to a steak place, of all places, because I had my players with me, and there's so many great steak places. But we have the finest Italian restaurants in the world. I think it even rivals Italy, because we have great Italian restaurants in the city. I can name 15 of them that I would love to go to. Elio's is another, but Campagnola. There's so many awesome places.
Coach Pitino, thank you so very much for joining us. Best of luck this season for the rest of your coaching career.
Thank you.
All right.